When your heart feels heavy, there is a quiet moment before the weight becomes too much to carry. A moment when the world grows still, like the hush before dawn, when the wind barely brushes the leaves and the air feels like it is holding its breath with you. If you're here tonight, listening, maybe something inside you has been asking for a place to rest. Maybe a part of you is tired of pretending you're fine. If this is your first time visiting, please subscribe to Mindful Path for more gentle stories like this, stories that remind you that you're not alone. And now, let us begin our journey together, slowly, like dipping our hands into a calm river before sunrise. Elias was 42, a man whose life looked steady from the outside, an accountant, a quiet presence at work, a person who rarely raised his voice. But inside, he carried a storm that no one saw. For years, he had lived with a knot of guilt pressed against his chest, a silent fracture between him and his younger brother, Noah. One sharp argument years ago, words said too fast, pride held too tightly, had turned into years of distance. On a late autumn afternoon, Elias found himself walking along the river near his childhood home. The sky was fading into soft amber, the kind that blurs the edges of things. Leaves drifted onto the water's surface, carried away without resistance. His footsteps felt heavier with each breath, as though the ground remembered every mistake he could not forgive himself for. He had returned because Noah had been in an accident. Not life-threatening, but enough to shake the walls Elias had built around his heart. Enough to remind him that nothing stays forever, not anger, not pride, not even the people we think will always be there. That evening, as he waited for visiting hours, a small temple nearby caught his attention. A single candle flickered at its entrance, its flame bending with the faintest breeze. Something about that trembling light drew him in, as though the candle was struggling the same way he was, trying to stay upright despite the winds of regret. Inside, the air smelled of incense and old wood. Shadows swayed gently against the walls. He sat down on a worn cushion, letting silence pool around him. But silence is honest. It doesn't let you hide. Memories rose like mist, Noah's laughter, Noah's disappointment, the moment Elias turned away instead of apologizing. His breath tightened. His eyes burned. An elderly monk entered quietly, carrying a small bowl of water. He did not ask Elias why he was there. He simply sat beside him, placing the bowl between them. He dipped his fingers into the water, then curled his hand into a fist. The water dripped through the small gaps between his fingers. When the heart is heavy, the monk whispered, we hold our pain like this. Tight. Afraid to let it move. Afraid to let it go. He opened his hand. His palm softened. The remaining water rested there, calm and unmoving. But when you open the hand, the water stops struggling. And so do you. Elias felt something inside him loosen, just slightly. Like a single thread untying itself in the dark. He thought of all the years he had spent gripping his guilt like a stone. The monk's simple gesture echoed in his mind, fist, then open hand. He realized that forgiveness was not an achievement or a milestone, it was an unclenching. A returning. A softening that happens the moment we stop fighting with our own hearts. The monk spoke again, barely above the sound of the temple wind chime. Impermanence isn't here to scare you, he said. It is here to remind you that nothing is fixed, not your past, not your mistakes, not the person you used to be. You can choose again. You can begin again. Elias imagined Noah's face, not the angry version he had replayed for years, but the boy who used to run barefoot with him along this same river. The boy who had reached for him, long before pride grew its thorns. He realized that karma is not punishment, it is an echo. And echoes fade when we answer them with compassion. With a breath that trembled like the candle flame outside, Elias let his shoulders drop. He allowed himself to feel the heaviness without resisting it, the way the river accepts the falling leaves. In that acceptance, the weight softened. Not gone, but gentler, finally given space to breathe. The next morning, he walked into the hospital room. Noah looked up, surprised. For a moment, no words came. Then Elias simply said, "I'm here." And somehow, those two words carried everything he had never been able to say. May you, too, allow yourself to sit with what feels heavy, without rushing to solve it or silence it. Let your breath soften the edges. Let your heart open just enough for compassion to enter. If you found value and comfort in this story, please consider pressing the like button below. And if the content we share brings peace or insight to your days, you can also subscribe and share the channel so more people can find these moments of calm. Thank you for listening, and may your day be filled with lightness and steady, gentle energy. Take a slow inhale. Release it softly. Return to yourself.